It's about I got to say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
Being able to run as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Here we go. Down from the gun to the touchdown. It is caught.
This is BS Sports.
Oh, I have the wrong layout. Oh. Hi.
Wasn't that interesting?
Hi.
What's wrong, Mike?
You know?
Is there something going on? Or should I say
I'm wearing
going on?
I'm wearing this hat right now.
Yeah.
With a feeling of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Some anger.
Ooh.
A little bit. I'm
Just
not
a
gonna
little.
yell well I'm gonna say I'm not gonna yell and scream on this show, but I know that I'll end up yelling and screaming.
That's yep.
So we got a good show today. We do. Trade deadline stuff happened. A lot of players on the move. Not named Eduardo Rodriguez. Tigers and the Padres both technically made moves. We'll talk about them. We also got some NFL drama. Sean Payton decided to choose violence. And Johnathan Taylor decided to also choose violence.
Pretty much.
And we'll preview, of course. Seth, football is back.
It's the
NFL,
game.
Thursday night. Hall
NFL.
of Fame. Browns, Jets, in Canton. The Hall of Fame game. We're going to talk a little bit about it, as much as we can, because it's preseason football, man. I mean, I'm trying my best here.
Yeah.
And I am just sort of checking my phone, just in case we get more news or whatever. But obviously, trade deadline is over. It ended today at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And first things first, I have to talk about it because I am a Tigers fan. And I have to talk about Eduardo Rodriguez and the tale of the no trade clause that apparently was a mystery to our general manager. He is.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
I am going to, and I told Seth this pre-show, I am going to give you what I would say is the most positive outlook potentially as to what went down today at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I will tell you why, even if you give the most positive outlook of what happened, it is still bad. So today, around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Jeff Passan tweets out, I don't have the exact tweet in front of me, something along the lines of, the Tigers and the Dodgers have had a trade between one another for Eduardo Rodriguez, which was nixed by Rodriguez due to his no trade clause, as the Dodgers were one of the 10 or so teams that he had on that.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the potentially positive way to spin this. If you're the right GM, you have the right system, you cannot trade someone, you can trade someone, it won't matter because you'll be able to develop prospects, you'll be able to hit on draft picks, and any trade that you do make, you will win.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of it, and Zach McKinstry just hit a double, so that's good. On the other side of it, if you would have traded Rodriguez, you could have gotten yourself 2 to 3, maybe 4 prospects from whoever you traded with.
Correct.
And again, if you can develop, that would be even more. The best positive outcome is that Erod decides to stay. And even if he decides to stay, which I still don't think he will, you just have one pitcher, one solid pitcher who's having a career year, but I don't think he's going to continue to pitch the way he has this year, because you look at his career numbers, and pitchers don't typically get better when they get older unless their name is Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer or Randy Johnson, whom at this point we're talking about, some of the top pitchers of all time.
Yes.
And I just I'm going through a lot here. Okay. It's been about an hour since I guess the not news broke. And I just have to ask, like, Scott Harris, did you not read the contract? Now, I don't read the contract. I'm not the general manager. I'm not the president of baseball. I don't read these contracts. I didn't know he had a no trade clause. I found that out today. Apparently, he has a no trade clause.
Yeah.
And I have never seen a deal be made. End of the deadline. We got it ready. Hey, Erod, we traded you wait, actually,
Never mind.
I don't want to go play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I'm not blaming Erod. I don't want to. All these people who are. I mean, as it stands right now, the information we have, there's no reason to blame Eduardo Rodriguez.
Correct.
Because he had it in his contract. He's the one who made the contract. He signed. It's not his fault that the general manager didn't know, or even that the Dodgers, who presumably might have known.
Yep.
They would assume, oh, okay, maybe they got he said he didn't want to go to the West Coast, but he's gonna make an exception for the Dodgers because I don't know, he wants
Dodgers.
But that's not what happened, right? Like,
no.
Is deal was set, and sorry, we didn't actually resolve this whole situation with the no trade clause.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is one of those mistakes that, hate to say it, probably sets you back about a year, because 3 prospects, if 1 or 2 of them hits, that's another player in your lineup or in your starting 5 that is going to make an impact on your team once they're ready. I mean, it's essentially as if you basically just got 3 more picks in your draft, right? In baseball, depth is everything. Your Padres know it. Depth is everything. If you don't have depth, your team is going to fall apart as soon as injuries start coming in. And you're like, wait, we don't have anybody to play first base. We got to go sign, Joe Schmo off the street, and he's going to have and this was the moment. I don't know if this is like some sort of kryptonite on Detroit, but with the exception of, I guess, Brad Holmes, every single general manager in this city, and I guess Steve Eiserman, he usually does a pretty good job of trade deadlines. Every single GM, they just the trade deadline comes, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to make a trade. I can make a trade in the offseason. Like, we know Scott Harris can make trades. He traded Joe Jimenez to the Braves. He traded Gregory Soto to the Phillies. He can make trades. He can get prospects. But it's like, what happened at this deadline? Did he, the other thing we were hearing was there were reports that he was, his asking price was too high. Now, my thing, I don't really care if your asking price is too high. If your asking price is high, that means that you are not just going to get peanuts.
Correct.
I'm not saying you don't set the asking price reasonably. Obviously, if you're I will only take your number 1 prospect, then yeah, you're kind of an idiot.
A little ridiculous.
You want a quality player when you make a trade, especially when you're selling and your team is going to be actively worse, right? It makes more sense. I'm not going to get on somebody because, they're asking for actual value in a trade. But I'm going to be on your ass if it's if your value assessment is unreasonable to the point where teams oh, okay, well, you don't want to trade with us. We'll just go trade with the Red Sox, or we'll go trade with the Orioles, or we'll go trade with the Diamondbacks. You can't. And I'm going back and forth on the I guess, more side towards favoring the front office and then the side favoring the fans. The fans, you've also got to realize it's not MLB The Show. It's not Madden. You can't just pick and choose which guy I want out of somebody's farm system and run the trades, simulator and see if they pass.
Yeah.
But it's also not that. It's not totally unreal. Trades happen all the time. Teams get we saw it. There was all these trades that were coming in, especially in the final hour. And it just doesn't how you not being able to make a deal when you had all of these suitors is on you. Especially if you cannot guarantee to me that this player is not just going to walk away for essentially nothing and go play for another team, and whether or not we would have kept him or not, or whatever, you could have gotten something. It is the difference between, throwing a game away that you're never going to play or going into GameStop and getting $5 for it. Like, sure, maybe the $5 is not worth, I don't know, Mario Party 4, but like you at least are your $5. Like you could, I don't know, like it doesn't, the $5 is not like, not to get like, you trade something, not even if it's not equal value. I'm not saying make a trade just to make a trade, because that's stupid. Al Avila would do that crap all the time. But this was like, you had the deal. You were talking to teams. You had suitors. You had teams offering you something. They probably weren't offering you nothing. And
I would hope not. Not for Erod.
I find it very hard to believe that the Orioles' offer was so horrible that you couldn't even like
figure that
fancy it. Like you couldn't be like, okay, an hour, like our trade gets next. All right, I'm going to go call Baltimore and say, actually, I will take your deal. But the problem was Baltimore said, okay, you don't want to take our deal. We're just going to go get, what's his name? Jack Rojas or whatever. I don't remember the guy's name. Whoever they got some pitcher.
Yep.
Probably because they were like, oh, well, Tigers don't want to deal with us. Well, then we'll just go deal with some other team.
We got other buyers. Simple as that.
And it's just not.
Yeah.
I'm beside myself because I was under the impression that Scott Harris would make something of a move. Like the other thing that is bothering me about it is there were stories and reports, I think especially from John Morosi, saying, oh, this is the front office feels this is going to be their last this is going to be their last season where they're sellers. And I'm like, well, I guess if you would have made this trade potentially, but not as it stands now. No. I mean, unless all of these prospects that you have in your system and any potential trades you make in the offseason or any potential free agent signings you make in the offseason. And maybe that is like, maybe you take a long-term view and we just look back and in like 2027 and the Tigers are like a dominant team and they're constantly developing prospects and nobody cares about the Eduardo Rodriguez trade.
Maybe.
But as it stands right now, I live in the present. I can't live in the what if. I think this was, at the very minimum, a gaffe, a oopsie. At the maximum, it was malfeasance. It was an unacceptable level of play from a president of baseball operations who is supposed to, set us in the right path. I get it. Al Avila set you up with a bad situation. Correct. But
do something to change it.
Pound sand. I don't care. Like every team's got a bad situation. If you're good, you're good. And if you can make the deals, you can make the deals. I look, and I'll talk Michael Lorenzen trade. Anybody who's getting mad about that, I don't know. Grow up. Like it's like Michael Lorenzen was having a career year and he still has like a 4 ERA. You're not getting Barry Bonds for Michael Lorenzen. You got a player that apparently this GM likes. And again, if he can evaluate talent, if he knows what kind of players he likes, and if those players are good, it won't matter. Nobody is going to be crying about Michael Lorenzen if the Phillies go to the playoffs and lose, 3 games to the Braves. Nobody's going to care. Which
would probably happen, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, even if they make the playoffs, that is. Like the second baseman, he could suck. It doesn't matter, right? It's the same. Like I just said, it's like turning in Mario Party 4 to GameStop for $5 as opposed to throwing it in the garbage. The $5 kind of sucks. Like you can't get much with the $5, but who knows? Something. Like, what if you take that $5 and you invest it, and now you buy a lottery ticket and you're a billionaire or something? I'm not saying this is realistic. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying whatever. Hold on. Let me pull up so that I don't misrepresent the gentleman's name.
Well, I don't get the income.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Lou. I don't care if Hao Yu Lee is the most terrible second baseman in the entire history of the MLB. Right now in high A, he plays second, short, and third, and he's batting .283 with a over 700 OPS and 14 stolen bases. And actually today he just hit a home run.
There's something.
Maybe he sucks. Maybe he can light it up in double or in high A, and then he goes to double A and he can't hit a baseball worth his salt. He's like Michael.
Who knows?
There. But like at least with Lorenzen, it's like whatever. We take a chance on a 20-year-old Taiwanese kid who could be fine. And with Erod, it's like, well, he's probably just gonna say, well, for one, last year I got put in the restricted list, so I didn't get a whole lot of money. This year you were talking about trading me, and apparently you didn't even read my contract, or you didn't inquire of me that I don't
No, they did not.
West Coast, and you got caught with your pants down, and everybody watching. Like, if I'm Erod, it's like, well, clearly this organization doesn't know what they're doing.
Yep.
At least in accordance with Erod, right? Like, he could be wrong about that evaluation. The Tigers call this one mistake, and it could be one mistake out of like a bazillion great moves.
That's true.
As it stands, like, sports is all about recency bias. I mean, you can see it, and you can see it on social media. You can see it on the news, on the news shows, on ESPN. You see, it's all about reason. What have you done for me lately? And what Scott Harris has done for me lately is show that he pooped his pants in the biggest day in the regular season of baseball.
Yep.
So yeah, I now here's the thing. My end is inaction when action should have been taken. Now, Seth, you have a baseball team.
I do.
And your baseball team took action. The question is, should you take action in the way in which they took action?
Would you like my honest answer to that?
I want to know, for one, what you think. And then, you're not a fan of the moves.
Well, one of them in particular.
One of them. Okay.
As in the pitching trade.
Right. So they had a couple of moves. Pretty low-key moves, generally. I mean, the Pittsburgh one was the bigger move, so I guess we'll just talk about it. Padres went out. They got Rich Hill and G-Man Choi. They also added Scott Barlow from KC, but we'll talk about first the Pittsburgh trade. So Padres get lefty arm Rich Hill, first baseman G-Man Choi. Pirates get and are given thus from the Padres guy by the name of Jackson Wolf, San Diego's number 16 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. Outfielder Estuer Suaro, and first baseman Alfonso Rivas. I don't know. They're not listed, I guess, as their prospects, but I'm assuming these guys are minor leaguers. I don't know what stage they're at. Yeah, okay. These guys are like one. Estuer Suaro is playing in the rookie affiliate, and Alfonso Rivera, I guess he played sometime in the majors.
A little bit.
Yeah, so he's 26 years old. He played a little bit. He didn't show a whole lot. Batted this season 200, 1 RBI.
It's better than some people on the roster now.
Yeah, 627. I mean, he only had 15 at-bats, so he really didn't play that much. He's 26, so the Pirates are probably just thinking, well, maybe we can see if this guy has a little bit of something when he's
turning into something.
Because he's entering into his prime. Padres didn't really give him a chance. In his career,
it's a gamble for them.
Yeah, in his career, he's not like awful. 245 average, 653 OPS. I mean, it's not amazing. 4 home runs in your career is not amazing, but again, they obviously weren't going to keep Rich Hill, so they get rid of him and G-Man Choi. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about Rich Hill. For one, Rich Hill is 43 years old. Yes. I think he played when he played for the Cubs initially. I think that was the first year the Tigers got Miguel Cabrera or something. It was like some sort of he played in the Cubs. It was 2005. That was his rookie year.
That's insane.
So hey man, say what you will about Rich Hill, but this guy has managed to keep his career alive for almost 2 decades, and
it's coming up on it.
And he's not even that great. I mean, he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's
kind of just ERA 393. He's fine. He's average. He's not going to be your ace.
No.
But he's got the experience. He's obviously well respected around the league. Played for a lot of teams. I don't know if he's been on any sort of major playoff / I mean, he's been on some teams that have made the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's won a World Series or anything like that though.
I don't believe so.
No. So but he's been on a lot of teams that have playoff experience. He's not. I'm not gonna totally poo-poo on Rich Hill. Other than the fact that I just don't really understand
he's a
the
dinosaur.
logic. Well, yeah,
I don't either.
He's 1,000 years old, and I don't really understand the logic of.
Yeah, I
going
have
for
like
him.
an idea for it, but it
Right.
is like just an idea that he's a veteran presence or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and G-Man Choi, again, he's also not a spring chicken. He's 32 years old. This season, he's been really not good.
Mhm.
73 ABs. He's batting 205 with a 731 OPS. Not bad. He's got some pop. Obviously, he's a big fella. But I mean, he's not going to push the offense any further, right? Like he's
Then
not.
the hole that we're in right now.
Yeah, right. And so I look at this and I'm like, if this is your biggest move, I don't really know what
You're
you're
like,
thinking. Like,
You're
why?
thinking to yourself, wow, 52 and 55, you want to make
Yeah,
that worse? Sounds good.
yeah. And I
Like,
guess also looking at this Jackson Wolf guy, so he's 24 years old in Double A. He's a
mhm.
pitcher, so I mean, like, not that you really need pitching right
That's the
now.
thing is we don't
So
need pitching, so I don't understand why we got
yeah,
two
you
pitchers
trade
today.
it. Yeah, you think if you're a team that's like, well, we don't need pitching, so we can trade this minor league pitcher. You think your idea is that you're
Is
going
to
to get
not,
a bat,
yeah, is to not
right?
get another pitcher because we don't need another pitcher
Yeah, I mean,
because we're fine.
yeah, and I mean,
I don't know.
I don't. We'll see if you end up missing Jackson Wolf. He was having a okay year this year. ERA
We'll
of
see if he does something
4.08
on Pittsburgh.
and 88 pitches or 88 innings pitched, 105
Yeah,
strikeouts, pretty good.
pretty
But
decent, but still,
like, I mean, like again, he's a minor league. He's 24. He's in Double A. We
yeah,
don't know what he could be nothing. Um,
but
but
still,
no, I mean, like the thing about it is like, and I don't even let me see if they detail the. Okay, they don't detail what the Scott Barlow deal was, but either way,
mhm.
the mindset of going after pitching for me. I want you to run me through.
Yep.
Like what are your feelings about this? For one, the front office at this stage.
Mhm.
Because if I'm a Padres fan, I'm a little antsy. It's like what is the strategy, guys?
Yep. I think the strategy, well, going forward should not be to smoke crack. Anyone in the front office.
That is a disgusting act.
I think that's what they're doing in the front office because again, I do not understand. Our pitching, to me. Now then again, I don't follow the Padres as much as, maybe the next guy.
Right.
Our pitching though, for somebody who's a more casual fan of the Padres, is fine.
Right.
I don't understand why, and even the other thing was too, is like we're getting rid of a prospect who is a pitcher. So somebody
Right.
who could fill that role when like say because I know Blake Snell and Josh Hader are on,
They're on contract years.
contract years, whatever, re-sign them. They're
Yeah, I
good
mean,
pitchers.
well,
They're
like
good
if
pitchers
the
for the team.
mindset is okay, we're not going to trade for bats. We want to,
Which makes zero sense, but go
yeah, it
on.
doesn't make any sense, but fine. Okay. So that means to me, okay, you're re-signing Blake Snell and Josh Hader.
I
Then,
would
right?
sure
Like
hope.
at least, like you can't just sort of
Yeah,
leave with that. Like if you're thinking like the bats are fine, we
yeah,
just need
which
to, things just need to kind of like figure itself out. Just needs to like give it some
which I
time.
think it does, but
Fine, but
yeah,
like the thing, it's like, well, I just don't like. What are you gonna do then if like maybe the bats start to work,
yeah,
but Josh Hader throws out his arm, or like that's the risk of trying to put a lot of focus on pitching as opposed to just getting a bunch of bats and then throwing in one or two really good pitchers and then the rest just we'll figure it out. It's like
yeah.
I don't.
I don't know. I'm kind of in that same boat as you in this sense of I don't really know the
Yeah.
idea here. I would like to think that maybe they brought in Hill. I didn't realize that what's his face, the dude from Taiwan, was as old as he was.
G-Man Choi. Is he
G-Man
from
Choi.
Taiwan?
I have no idea.
Hold on.
I
I
that
have
could
it
be
up.
a case of racial profiling. I have no idea. But
It's the
anyway,
most racist sports show on all of.
besides the
He's
point.
from Korea.
Okay, well there you go.
He
We got
him and
Hasan
what's his
Kim.
Hasan Kim are gonna
Yep.
Maybe they're familiar with one
knows?
another. Apparently, okay. I'm looking at this now. His nickname is G Money.
Nice.
I guess I get it. It's like
Spelled
G Man, G
yeah.
Money. Okay, I
Mhm.
kind of get it. It's kind of funny.
So I'm hoping. I didn't realize that was his age, but as far as the Rich Hill trade goes, I
Yeah.
would like to think that they brought in this dinosaur to bring like a veteran presence of sorts, but like I don't even think that that's necessary. Padres aren't
Yeah, I
like I mean,
mean,
we have young guys.
Blake Snell is not some. Blake Snell's at this
Yeah,
point. He's a veteran. I mean, he's
he's a
been
vet.
playing for a pretty long time,
You know,
right? I mean,
we
he's
have
not.
like vets. We have a vet at least in Blake Snell. So like I don't yeah, I don't know. I'm still like very
Yeah, and it was
puzzled.
also like you had other veterans. Like even if you want to say, oh no, Blake Snell, but Blake Snell is 30 years old. He's not a
He's not a young
if
guy,
you want to say like, oh well, I don't think he's a veteran. Okay, you had Matt Carpenter come in. He's certainly a veteran.
certainly.
Like you have. I'm just gonna go through their roster right now.
Yep.
Like you know, at this point in his career, like Jake Cronenworth is 29 years old.
He's
Austin
getting there.
Nola is 33 years old.
Oh,
Manny
trash can.
Machado was 30 years old. Xander
Yeah.
Bogaerts, like, I mean, you have some younger players. You still have Trent Grisham. You still have Tatis. You still have Juan Soto. Those
Soto.
guys are all still very young.
Yep.
But like, if the idea, if what they tell you, if what Padres front office comes to you and they're like, well, we wanted to bring in some vets and some experience. It's like,
Doesn't make
well,
any sense.
dude, you've been doing that. Like,
Yeah.
like your additions to the in the offseason were all vets. Like, and I don't understand.
I'm in the same
and,
boat
and
as
then, I
you.
mean, and then Gary Sanchez, I think he also got moved.
He did.
Or so it's like you like what is the idea here? I don't understand it, and I want
yeah.
want to like the Padres. I really, really do. Not only because they're your team, but
Yep.
because I Fernando Tatis is a fun player. Juan Soto's a fun player. Xander Bogaerts, these are all fun players. But
Well,
like
Xander
the
should be.
Xander Bogaerts that I know when he was on the Red Sox, he was
yes.
scary. He was a great player. And
And all of a sudden he's
Cronenworth is kind of a fun player too. I mean, I'm not saying not all these guys are Hall of Famers. Obviously not. But my point is like like you're sort of constructing this team, and it might just be that it's just not constructed with any sort of strategy in mind. Like it's just sort of like
Yeah.
it is as if like somebody who played Madden or MLB The Show, I guess in this
Yep.
case, is like, how can I make a team without considering that these are human beings, right? Like
Well,
you can't just like throw a bunch of guys that have good stats together,
Yeah.
like and try to. I mean, like it works in a sense. Like you pick in,
does.
you bring in guys for an identity to a team, right? Like
Sure.
so, like I guess to relay this to the Tigers. The Tigers are the identity that Scott Harris is in theory trying to build is one of respecting the strike zone, like not swinging and missing a lot, not striking out, drawing a lot of walks, getting on base, and then on the flip side, getting a lot of strikeouts, not throwing, pitches that are uncompetitive out of the zone, stuff like that. Like that is the identity that the general manager, the president of baseball operations is trying to build.
Bring.
With the Padres, it's like, I don't know, like you bring in a lot of big names and you spend a lot of money, but the Mets did that and the Mets ended up selling. And look, I make fun of the Mets. We'll talk about the Scherzer and the Verlander stuff, but like, hey, like the Mets went out and spent, but at least they had the wherewithal to be like, okay, this isn't working. We're just going to sell. We don't care how much money we just spent. We know we spent $1 billion to get Scherzer and get Verlander. Not working out. Let's go trade him. Let's reload our farm and we'll sort of start over. And maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Point is, the Mets at least
Actually
they went out and spent this money, and they were like, okay, not working. We're just gonna give up essentially. And
pretty much.
like,
but see, they have a thought in mind.
Yeah, like I just don't know. It's like
Padres, I don't think do.
I texted you this today. It's like it's as if the Padres are like just sort of seeing what other teams are doing and are just like, oh, okay, so other teams are trading for pitching, so we should trade for pitching, even though pitching is not a concern for the team, really.
No.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you, and I am a fan of this team, allegedly. So I don't know at this point. We're just gonna wait and see, I guess. And like I said, or like I have said before, I should say, I'm hoping that this is the only roster change That's major, even though it's not, anything too major. And I'm hoping
Right.
they just run it back and
Yeah.
they can just
And it just worked
win
out.
more than 3 games at some point this season. I would love to see that.
I can't believe you said that to me, and I was like, "Are you like they really haven't won more than
The
3 games in a row?"
Yep,
Which
their
is
win
amazing.
streak
I
is
mean, like, to be
3.
fair, the fact that they've won 52 games is pretty impressive if they've never won 3 in a row. Like, that's a
Yeah,
lot of, 2,
it's a
3
lot
game
of
win streaks
winning
and then
and
just
then
losing.
nothing. Winning,
Like,
nothing.
that is amazing. But I alluded to it a little bit earlier. Obviously, Scherzer's on the thumbnail, so we'll talk a
Correct.
little bit about this. So the only thing with Scherzer, and I'm not going to discuss every single trade deadline deal because I'm a human being and I don't care about all of these.
We only care about Max
I gotta be
Scherzer
frank
and
with you.
Verlander.
I don't really care that the Brewers went and traded for Andrew Chafin. I'm sure whoever they traded is going to be wonderful for the Diamondbacks, but I don't.
Correct.
I'm not. I can't. I have to be honest with people. I
Yep.
can't comment if I don't really have a good idea as to what the move actually was. Like
Well, yeah,
or that it just doesn't emotionally affect me.
which in this
So
case, it doesn't.
yeah, the
So
Pirates just took the lead, by the way.
Oh, nice. Good job,
So
Pittsburgh.
yeah, it was a RBI triple. So.
Oh, fantastic.
So Max Scherzer was traded to the Mets. Bigger name, you probably recognize it. Luis Angel Acuna, as
Yes.
in Ronald Acuna Jr.
Mhm.
They are brothers.
Mhm.
So let me see if they have a page for Mr. Acuna. Not in the article, but I can pull it up real quick. Luis Angel Acuna,
Acuna.
and take a look at his minor league numbers. So Acuna
Mhm.
in this season in the minor leagues
Sure.
has raked. He has played very, very good.
Sure.
Batting .315 with
Damn.
an .830 OPS,
Ooh.
7 home runs, 51 RBIs. Playing in Double A. So he's raking in Double A, and
Yep.
obviously that's not the end of it all. And we'll see how he plays with the Mets Double A team. This is obviously playing with the Rangers Double A team. So
Mhm.
we'll see how that works. He's 21 years old. He's a shortstop, and
That's- I mean, 21 years old. That's
21 years old.
a lot of upside.
Well, the thing about being 21 years old and being in Double A, I mean, this guy could be up at 22, 23.
Mhm.
And at the shortstop position, obviously they have
Yeah.
Francisco Lindor, but I don't know how much longer they'll have Lindor. And even if they don't, I mean, guys change positions all the time. He could turn into a second baseman, or Lindor
That's
could turn
true.
into a second baseman.
Right.
Things change, and you can adjust for it. Ultimately,
Right.
the point is, you don't trade or make decisions on guys based on their position. You base it on, can you hit?
They're
Like I said,
yeah.
like it does. I don't care if you play the outfield. I don't care if you play first base. I don't care if you play catcher. Can you hit the
Yep.
baseball more often than you don't hit the baseball?
Correct.
And looks like Luis.
It looks like he can.
Angel Acuna, he might be him, and we know his brother. And people are gonna compare him to his brother all the time. He's probably not gonna be as good as his brother. But if he
Oh,
is
yeah.
even half as good as his brother,
He's gonna be pretty damn good.
I think the Mets are going to come away with this looking pretty good. And
Yeah.
Pirates just hit a 2-run home run. It is now 3-0. So
Fantastic.
not a great
Good job,
start
Pittsburgh.
not a great start for Matt Manning. We don't win on Tuesdays, by the way. This
It's
is
true.
an established fact. I want people, if you don't believe me, go and look up the Tigers' record on Tuesdays. We do not win on Tuesdays. It doesn't.
It's a
happen.
curse.
I think we won like 2 games on Tuesdays. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
But the other trade that they made, which was
Yes.
kind of funny, was Justin Verlander, who was
Mhm.
traded to the Astros. Now I don't know, has he played for the Astros before? He's played for a few teams. I don't know if has he played for the Astros before? I think
Did he?
he might have.
Oh,
They
that's
get
weird.
a couple of prospects, one by
Mhm.
the name of Drew Gilbert, and another by the name of Ryan Clifford. Let me pull up Drew Gilbert.
Mhm.
If I can just Drew Gilbert. So Drew Gilbert is in Double A. He's 22 years old, and he's
Sure.
also played very well. He's an outfielder,
Okay.
274 average, and 821 OPS, 12 home runs on the season.
Very nice.
Again, pretty solid player. Double
pretty
A, 22 years old, could be up at 24.
Absolutely.
So that's a great piece. And
Mhm.
also Ryan Clifford. Take a look. Ryan Clifford.
I think the whole moral of this trade deadline for the Mets is they're just going young.
Yeah,
They're going.
Yeah, I mean, like,
building for the future, and I like
well,
it.
the other thing to me is what are the Mets trading? What are the Mets not trading for when they trade away Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander?
Pitchers.
That's right, Seth. Do you
It's
want to
weird
know
how-
why?
Because they're not the San Diego Padres.
I will say this to the moon, and some fans they get on me for this. Pitching in the modern game is not nearly as important as it was
hitting.
years ago. You
Hitting
need
is-
bats. I don't
Yes.
care if you like. Look at the Angels a couple of years ago. I think they drafted only pitching. How's the Angels pitching? Not good. But because for one, it takes longer to develop pitchers. So unless
Yep.
you got a really, 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 really good pitcher, you're
Which they do
basically
have in
wasting a
one.
lot of time.
Yep.
And again, you have even if he is a really, 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 really good pitcher, he plays one out of
Right.
every 5 games
That's
at
true.
most. If he's a reliever, even more useless, right? You're even more indispensable because he's pitching not only 1 out of every 3 or 4 games. He's pitching like an inning of 1 every 3 4 games. Like if you get a bat and you got to think. So every team has professional baseball players. Every team has a batter. At least every team has at least one batter that is somewhat fearful. And you can go to the A's, you can go to the Tigers, you can go to the Padres, you go to some of the worst offenses ever. Every single team has at least one batter that is scary, right?
Correct.
Or at least that is like permissible. Like you're not just gonna be like
That teams consider walking.
right, yeah. And what adding more bats does is it takes whatever that batter is. Like say you have, I don't know, the Tigers' best hitter is Riley Green. Okay, Riley Green is like a 300 hitter. He probably for any team, he'd be like a top of the order guy. And if you add more bats similar to Riley Green, well, all that does is move the worst bats down to the point where there's no worse bats, where there's no like bats that you're like totally unafraid of. So it's like instead of having to have, I don't know, Javi Baez batting 5th, you have, I don't know, who's like a middle of the road bat, like I don't know.
Throw a name out there.
I'm just trying to think of just a random. I mean, Matt Vierling on the Tigers. I'll go with the Tigers because it's what team I know the best. Matt Vierling is a fine player. He's not great. He doesn't have like a lot of power, but he's a fine player. He can get some base hits. He can slap some hits in. He can steal base.
Sure.
Like if you get a Riley Green-esque bat on top of Riley Green, all that does is mean that Matt Vierling goes from batting 3 or 4 to now 5th. And you just keep doing that.
You just keep
to
moving
where
down the pole.
eventually even your number 9 hitter is like, maybe he's not great, but he's better than the worst team's number 9 hit. Like, look at every really bad team. Okay? Like, there's no good team with a bottom 10 offense. It doesn't exist because it's impossible. You win by scoring runs.
That's
now, also,
how the game of baseball works.
Now, you technically, I suppose some people say, oh, you also win by stopping the other team from scoring runs. Yeah, but it doesn't. Even if you stop the other team from scoring runs, you still need to score runs.
That's how you need to get
you
points
are
on the
more
board.
control. You are in more control of you scoring runs than you are of the other guys scoring runs. Because the other guy is facing one of your guys, right? And then I guess the outfield, right? But I mean, usually it's routine plays. If you can't catch a fly ball, I mean, I can't help.
Why are you playing baseball?
But when you are batting, you are in total control of like if you just go out and you score like 4 runs in an inning. Yep. The other team is already on you could have the best pitcher in the world. It doesn't matter. One bad inning, game is pretty much over. It's over. Games can end in an inning because one mistake on a pitcher. You could have Mariano Rivera as your closer, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, you're down 1 base hit, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. It does and I get it because people
And now he's dead.
Exactly. Thank you, Steve. And like I get it. Everybody wants Justin Verlander. Everybody wants Randy Johnson. But you need to, if you're going to take a guy like that, you need to hit. If you're going to take Justin Verlander like we did years and years ago, you need to hit. You need to hit on that pick. And then you can't just keep Justin Verlander around and then be like, well, I don't know, our offense isn't all that good. Because then it's like, well, what difference does it make if Justin Verlander's on the mound?
That's not how that. Yeah, the offense is going to be affected.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose every game 2-0.
Yeah.
Because in the same way that I'm not going to be mad at an offense if they score 4 runs and lose, I'm not going to be mad at a pitcher if he gives up 2 runs and loses. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. Because if you went out, you understood the assignment, you got runs, and you still lost, then yeah, I guess your pitching screwed you. But it's like, look, I could go on forever, but look, the Mets, they understand. You
That's
go
true.
and you give bats. None of this trading for a pitcher who's not going to be here for 3 years or 5 years or whatever. None of this taking pitchers super high in the draft. I know Paul Skeens just got taken. We don't know what this guy is going to be. If it was me, I know everybody's saying I'm sorry. I'm taking the bat. Paul Skeens could be the most amazing pitcher ever. But I'm taking the bat. Like I have a philosophical difference in how I value a player. And maybe you'll have some people who are like, oh, well, you can't just one hitter on team. It's like, well, you draft like a million of them. Like I'm not saying you draft one guy first overall and then just, I don't know, I just going to throw draft picks out the window. Yeah. Like you get like a billion bats. You do what the Mets do. You sell off any of your pitching and you don't trade your pitching for pitching because that's just a recipe for failure. And it's like the Mets will probably come away winning this trade unless I think they will win a World Series. If the Astros win a World Series and the Mets don't win anything, even if these guys are good, it's going to be hard to argue that they won that trade.
I think for sure
from a player value,
Mets win.
All of these guys, these are all going to be really solid players. And even if they suck, let's be realistic, okay? Not all these players are going to hit.
No.
Probably most of them will. Probably most of them will suck, or they will be like average. But you just keep it's the same. You just get a bunch of them. It's like in any of these sports of prospects. In hockey, it's the same thing. You don't just put all your eggs in one basket. You don't just say, "Oh, I drafted, Connor Bedard first overall," and then just I don't know what else to do. It's like, no, you just keep drafting these goal scorers. In baseball, you keep drafting these hitters. You keep trading for these hitters until eventually you get one who sticks and he's super freaking good, and then you have a bunch of guys that are really solid, and all of a sudden you got an offense that is pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, look. I would love to make fun of the Mets just because, it's the Mets. It's the Mets and, they spent all this money. They went and they sold their pitchers. Look, the Mets, I can't laugh. I mean, they understood the assignment. A couple of years, they're probably going to be pretty good unless they got totally gypped. Unless the Rangers and the Astros totally just got one in under them. Right.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe that's the case.
Maybe that's the case. But as it stands, it's like I can't be mad at the move. I can't because I understand the strategy. I get it. We're gonna go after bats and we're gonna out hit you. Essentially, that seems to be the move. Oh, and Riley Green just hit a double. That's good to see.
There you go. Speaking of hitting,
yeah, right. I was just talking about Riley Green. It's the 14th double of the season for Riley. That's great. So. Already exhausted myself from all of this baseball talk and
and we haven't even gotten to the National Football League yet.
We haven't because Seth, football is back.
Correct.
It's back, people. Football is back. Where's there?
Come on, Daddy.
There you go. Thank you, Troy. Thank you so much for that,
Mr. Troy.
Troy Aikman is here.
Oh yeah.
Joe Buck is here. Football is back. Technically. I mean, okay. So Thursday night football. We got the Jets. We got the Browns. The only thing of interest about this game for me
is football.
Well, yes. Zach Wilson. Is he going to start?
Ooh.
Because Aaron Rodgers obviously isn't going to start.
Well, Aaron Rodgers
still on the
team.
team.
I bet Zach Wilson will start.
I feel like he's going to. Now
they're going to have a terrible offense, but he's going to start.
Here's my thing, though. What if Zach Wilson plays really good? What if he passes for 300 yards, has 3 touchdowns? I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does,
that's not going to do anything. They're going to use Aaron Rodgers and his old ass.
Here's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying they're not going to start Aaron Rodgers, but I will say that it will at least make people if Rodgers doesn't work out or whatever, and say Zach Wilson, they move on from him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's it's difficult to say that the Jets didn't give up on Zach Wilson too early, right? If Zach Wilson plays really well and or even say, I don't know, say Rodgers goes down or something, some sort of injury, and then Zach Wilson comes in and he looks a little bit better.
Yeah, well,
Then it's like, well,
Murray.
shoot, we spent all that money just to, or we spent all those assets to, go get Aaron Rodgers, and Zach Wilson's probably not very happy.
Yeah, probably not.
And this is all we can really get here, because obviously with the Hall of Fame game, none of the starters are going to play. You might see some interesting performances from, practice squad guys,
I was gonna say like second or
late
third
round
string
picks.
guys.
And I think that's sort of the fun of preseason is you get these guys who nobody's heard of, and
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and you might have something fun. I mean, the thing about it is the Lions preseason is going to be pretty interesting because, for one, it's the only time Jameson Williams is going to be able to play up until week 7, and I'm almost 100% certain he's going to want to play, and the Lions are going to want to play him because
Probably.
it is going, if he doesn't have, and look, I'm of the opinion, and I want to know what you think of this. I think all of training camp totally meaningless. Like I take zero things negative or positive. Whatever I read or see, I'm like, oh, okay, moving on. I don't care. Like when I hear Sam Laporta looks like the greatest tight end since Rob Gronkowski, don't care. I don't care. It means nothing to me. It's like it is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think it's like people can sometimes try to have it both ways, where they'll say like, oh, negative things don't, it's crazy. But then when a good thing happens, oh, did you see Amon-Ra St. Brown make that catch? It's like,
did you see it?
I gotta be honest. I love St. Brown. I don't care. He
No.
could drop every single ball in the preseason. Don't care.
It doesn't matter because
all that I care about,
regular season.
What are you doing on Sundays?
Correct.
And it's the same thing with practice, even during the season. I don't care. What are you doing on Sundays? What are you doing on Sundays? I don't care what you do. Are you catching more balls than you're dropping? You can get all that dropping out of your system.
His ball handling is fantastic.
I said it better myself, Al. Couldn't have said it better myself. But I do have to ask.
Yeah.
Who are we rooting for this game? Do we got the Browns? Or we got the Jets? Who do we rooting for? Because I honestly, I don't. This is a difficult question for me, and I'm curious because you're sort of out of it as far as
as far as teams, yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm just curious because I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh well.
But I also don't really like the Browns because of the Browns. It's like I don't want to root for the.
Yeah, I really don't have a horse in this race. I could care less.
It's like, can they both lose? Can there be preseason?
I don't know.
I think there can. I mean, they have the regular season. I would assume. Now that would be funny if the game ends in a tie. There's no way.
The first game of
the season. Yeah,
of the season.
Hey, it is professional football. It is live. The games, technically speaking, matter.
Well, I'm not gonna argue with that, I guess. But I'm gonna leave my.
We're down bad. Okay, we need it. Oh gosh. We are right now, as we speak, a singular month away from football, like actual football, not preseason. Not that preseason is not actual football, but legitimate, actual, meaningful football. Spartan Stadium, MSU, fire up chips. We're going to murder the Native Americans.
Correct.
That was a joke. There's no more Native
just on
Americans
the record.
left.
On the record.
There's no one left to murder.
On the record.
Ow! Ow!
I don't know what happened to him.
But anyway, yes.
But
it's
we do have some news around the NFL. I mean, I'm just curious. Have you seen anything that's been going on in training camp for the Chargers? Is there anything of note? Is it just,
I mean, other than the Justin Herbert deal, that's not even training camp, but as far as that goes,
is their training camp facility in Los Angeles or is it still in San Diego? They moved they moved the training camp facility.
Mm-hmm.
Did they pick it? Did they pick it up?
They picked it up and moved it.
Move it away.
Yeah, actually, I will double check.
What they do to the old training camp facility?
I don't know.
Just tear it down.
Probably. It might still be in San Diego. I thought they moved it, but let's see.
That would be cruel if they still have their training camp facility in San Diego.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely. That'd be like spitting in their face. Oh no!
I have something bad.
Oh no!
It's in It's in Costa Mesa, which is in San Diego, California.
Oh my God!
you know,
It's in Costa Mesa, really?
how far is that from where you're from in San Diego?
I need to see.
Because the Lions training camp facility is in Allen Park, which is only about like 30 minutes, I think, or so from the city.
Okay, so actually, it's
Maybe an
not.
hour.
It's not in San Diego,
Oh, Redemption.
but it's not in LA either.
Okay, so
It
they're
is
okay.
okay.
I guess
So
that's not
Costa
that
Mesa.
bad.
Here's the thing. That's why I thought this was in or more towards San Diego, but it's more north. It's about an hour north. It's actually close to Anaheim, California,
Oh, okay.
which is about 30 minutes out of LA.
About 30 minutes out of LA. Okay, so
So
all right.
I
Well, I
was-
guess okay. So they did move the the training facility to be relevant to the new location.
relevant-ish. Yeah, I thought it was closer to me. I thought it was.
Well, the Angels play in Anaheim, and they call themselves LA. So what's the
That
difference?
is true. Yeah, so I thought Costa Mesa was a little closer, but as it turns out, it's more in the Irvine, Huntington Beach area. I know you don't know those.
Right. I'm
locations,
familiar with
but-
the names, but I
Yeah.
don't like it. I mean, I
So
don't know
not
what
technically
any- I
Los
don't know where it
Angeles,
is.
but close enough.
Right. Right.
So that's actually good. I was incorrect on the location of a city in my home state. So that's
Well, your
gotta
home state is much bigger. Is
It
that a
is.
catch? No, that is not a catch. That hit the wall. Wonderful. Um.
But anyway,
So
nothing major.
yeah,
in
and
Chargers
honestly,
land.
no news is good news a lot of
Yep.
the time.
That is
You
true.
know, we've seen some injury scares. Joe Burrow,
Yes.
little was it his Achilles or something?
All I know is a non-contact thing. I saw the
Yeah, it
video.
was some sort of foot. It was foot
It
involved.
was foot,
foot.
leg, something.
Yeah. So I mean,
Who knows? I'm hoping
it's
that's
like
nothing.
this is like I mean, at least the first week I would say is when you're most stressed. After that,
It's just a
players
bunch
are
of
just like
who
more comfortable.
cares.
Like
Yep.
like players are like, okay, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I got the the week 1 training camp
Exactly.
like injuries out of the way and we can move on.
Yeah.
Oh, but the other thing I didn't even put that Jalen Ramsey out
Mm.
till
Mhm.
December.
Yeah.
That's fortunate for Miami. They went and they traded for this guy. Not that
Mhm.
they spent a whole lot, but they traded for him. So
Mhm.
they went and they picked up Eli Apple. So
And him and Tyreek Hill are gonna probably fist fight, but I'm there for it.
they said they're okay. They said they're okay. I'm going to here's my thing, right? In football,
Mhm.
you get mad at someone, but you're not like you don't really have any vitriol, I feel. Like
That is true.
like you're just in a high emotion, especially for corners and receivers. You're both trying to
Mhm.
play for each other or playing to trade for the ball. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put too much stock in the Eli Apple thing.
There's
Um,
nothing there.
Like if
it's
it
just
was
a fun,
basketball is a little different where like there's only so many guys on the court at a time, the movement of the ball like it's a little bit
Mhm.
different. But in
Still, that's
yeah.
gonna be nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks a little bit because I do like Jalen Ramsey, the player,
Mhm.
and it would have been pretty cool to see him on Miami
Yeah.
when Miami is trying to increase themselves as a competitive team,
Yeah,
and
they're
that
getting
division
there.
is supposed to be very, very, very scary. I
Mhm.
think with the Bills, and I mean, it's ironic now the Patriots, who for most of my life were the
Dominated
scariest
that.
team in that division,
Yep.
and they are now the most boring team in that division. And
Because Belichick just does the same thing every year.
yeah, I gotta wonder like what Patriots fans are thinking about Bill. I mean, like
Who
he's
knows?
not getting fired, right? Like
No.
he's if his job is done, they're gonna say, even if they actually fire him, he's going to just say he's retiring, right? Because they're not going to fire him. It's not gonna happen.
No.
He's too much of a legend for them. I mean, the guy's a first ballot Hall of Fame coach and
Yes.
general manager and all that. But
Everything.
like
All the above.
it's just not. I don't know how you feel about a guy like. I mean, it's like, what's like a comparable example? I guess kind of Tom Izzo, similar example, like
Or like
I
Greg
mean,
Popovich with the Spurs.
Greg Popovich. That's another. It's like, and I mean, in the case of Tom, I mean, right now we could see that team get better with him still under the helm. So
looks like they might be based
yeah,
on
I
who
mean,
we
in
have.
his case, it's like, well, he still might have it, right? Like, so he might be
Right.
slightly, but even then, like, he probably has only so many more years left,
Mhm.
just because he probably doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think a better example was D'Antonio.
Mm.
D'Antonio,
Sure.
MSU football coach legend, the guy brought winning back to MSU. We were in the playoff. We won the Rose Bowl. We were one of the best teams in the nation.
Yep.
Like, and then things just started to fall apart, and it's like things kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But we all sort of knew
You still stuck.
he's not.
You
Yeah, I mean,
stick
he's
with
not
him.
getting fired. Is sort of
Yeah.
the point. Like,
Yeah.
even if things suck,
Yeah.
and I mean, we look at what the situation of the team was just this past year. A
Mhm.
lot of that was Marky D. And the guys that he brought in that we had to deal with, and we'll see if that changes this year. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird for the Patriots. They're just kind
Yep.
of. It's not so much that they're just bad. It's that they're just like boring.
Yeah.
Like
Just the Patriots,
you can be bad, but be interesting and respectable.
Yeah.
And like the Lions a couple of years ago, they were bad, but they were interesting. They had close games. They were always sort of in it.
They had Megatron.
They had right. I mean, but it was like it's just not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about them. But as far as who I think is going to win, we're still in the Hall of Fame game, by the way. I actually think the Jets are going to win.
They probably will.
I think assuming Zach Wilson is the starter, I am
Okay.
going to assume Zach Wilson is at least as bad as whoever the Chargers, as bad as the Browns are going to put out. At
Probably.
least. So that means it's going to be their defense. And I would suspect
Yep.
that their second string and third string defense is probably better than the Browns offense or whatever.
Probably.
Because I mean, it's still the regular coaches, obviously.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this NBA summer league where it's
No.
not the same coaching staff. So
Yeah.
like Robert Sala's a smart guy. He's going to be
Mhm.
able to scheme up some nice defenses. So
For sure.
yeah, I think the Jets are going to win. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I'll take the Jets too, just because again I have no
No dog in this
interest
fight.
who wins, who plays, who doesn't, because they're teams that don't really matter to me. So
Right. Now speaking of the Jets,
yes.
did you hear about Sean Payton? I think he did. I think he said some
Oh.
things. I don't know if you
Hmm.
kept up, but
I can't. I'm not going to
Reporting-
comment on that for
reporting
legal purposes.
reporting on USA Today, Jarrett
Mhm.
Bell, Sean Payton pinpoints blame for Broncos collapse, Russell Wilson's woes, quote, 20 dirty hands. I don't really understand what that phrase means. People were saying
It's
it as
very
if they knew what it
cryptic.
means. I was like, what is that? Well, like, I'm just saying the phrase. I'm like, what 20 dirty hands? How many? I don't understand what he means by that. But let me see if I can find the quote where he mentions the Jets.
Mhm.
So
Did you take a shot at the Jets?
he did.
I knew about the Broncos stuff, obviously.
So I don't know the exact quotes. I don't know if they're actually in this article, but Sean Payton went out. He chose
Mhm.
violence. He
Well, of
chose
course.
he basically comes out and he's like, what's his name? Nathaniel Hackett was
Mhm.
awful. He was the entire reason why this team was bad. He
Yes.
sucks. He totally got in Russell Wilson's way and everything is terrible. And
Sure.
we're not worried about winning the offseason like the Jets. And it was just like the Jets are just like, what did we do? And then now the Jets are all upset, and Aaron Rodgers is coming out like, you can't talk about my man like that. How dare you disrespect Nathaniel Hackett? I'm just like, I don't know.
You're like,
Like,
did you see the
my
Broncos
thing is-
record
okay,
last year? I mean,
yeah, I mean, like, here's my thing, right? Everybody is sort of like, oh, well, Nathaniel Hackett, Rodgers loves him. He was playing when he played for him. He was an MVP. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
I mean, maybe he's a good coordinator, but on the flip side, last
The
year his
record-
offense was awful, like unwatchable awful. To ask any Broncos fan how they felt about Nathaniel Hackett offense, it was terrible. And
Yep.
like, maybe it was Russell Wilson, maybe it was the team. I don't know. I mean, like,
some
we'll
of that
see.
falls on Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
by
like
some,
again, it's like we just said. It's like you can be bad, but you can't be embarrassing. You can't be like pathetic.
which
Like,
you look at the
and
Broncos
you
last
were,
year and you're like,
you were,
you know,
and the other thing though is like I feel like this is gonna backfire on both these teams, right?
Yeah.
Because the Jets are feeling like, oh, they're trying to take us down. They're trying to just think we didn't just win the offseason. We're gonna show you Sean Payton. Nathaniel Hackett's gonna come out and we're gonna have a real good. And I feel like
yeah,
I'm not totally sure if they're gonna have like that great of an offense. I'm not really all that high on Aaron Rodgers entering year 40 of his life and
yeah,
lighting it up like he did before. Even if he does have Garrett Wilson, he had Christian Watson last year, and Christian Watson was a pretty darn good receiver. Not rookie of the year, but honestly, he probably could have been in a different year.
hmm
And like, and then their offensive line is much worse also. But then I'm like, okay, so then that could happen to the Jets. But
That could.
also, the Broncos could also just kind of suck, Sean. Like, I mean, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, I just don't.
yeah.
What is the benefit to saying this kind of stuff?
Maybe it's just a confidence boost. That's the only thing I could see is him trying to like
Yeah.
bolster confidence within
Yeah,
the
like
team
he's
after
trying to-
going, what was it, 3 and something?
Hey, who did they draft at? Top of the. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't.
Oh,
They traded that pick.
that's right.
That's too bad.
Good job, Denver Donkeys.
Oh no. But
Anyway,
look, like I kind of in my mind, like as the cruel person that I am, I
well,
kind of want them both to fail because look, here's my
it'd be
thing.
funny.
Like Sean Payton, I think like he's a great coach. He's a Hall
Mhm.
of Fame coach.
100%.
Drew Brees, all this stuff. But also, he kind of underperformed down the stretch after that Super Bowl. Like they won the Super Bowl on Bounty Gate, and what they do after that, I must have missed it. Hold on. That's what they did. They were dial tone. You pick up the phone, nobody's on the other side. That's what they were.
Interesting.
Like their best chance was 2018, and they did get screwed. I agree by that. They did get screwed by that bad call. But
still,
here's my thing. It's like you can lose by one bad call. Like, sure, you can say, like, if that bad call doesn't happen, we most likely don't lose. But, like, it shouldn't come down to that. You shouldn't allow it to come down to that.
Yeah,
like,
it shouldn't come down to a what if call.
Yeah. It's just not.
Either way.
Yeah. And it's like he's also coming out of retirement.
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's hard for me to trust the Broncos when, for one, like they have not been able to get past losing Peyton Manning. Since they've lost Peyton Manning, they have been awful. They have never been able to replace the quarterback position, and I don't know if Russell Wilson is going to come back and be suddenly good again.
Which he could.
I like.
You
The
have
other
no
thing too
idea.
was like, I mean, it was like he wasn't even like that good in his latter years with the Seahawks.
With Seahawks. Yeah.
And like, it's like, well, they went out and they got Geno Smith, who was like at
Who
least
did right back.
Yeah, he did right back. God, that line is so stupid. It's like, but Geno, at least, like, he played at least, I would say, as well as Russell Wilson would have with Pete Carroll, right? Like,
Yeah.
Pete Carroll clearly seems to be one of the better head coaches in the league. And I love Pete Carroll. I know some people don't like Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll's great.
He's all right. Yeah, he's cool.
He's like, for one, he's respectable. And the guy just lives and breathes football. And I will always have the utmost of respect for somebody who is just addicted to the game, knows the game, can just make it work, and is always competitive. Like, I don't like
That's
this.
true. He is always,
Like, because he's like, it's like, it doesn't matter what his team does. Doesn't matter if they're quote unquote, like the Seahawks don't rebuild, right?
No.
The Seahawks don't rebuild. They're like, and if you're a part of that, I'm like, okay, I'm with you. Like, obviously at some point the Seahawks are going to have to rebuild, but that'll probably be after Pete Carroll is gone, right? That'll be when a new regime comes in and they're going to try to set up their own thing, and then eventually you don't have to rebuild. Theoretically, you're only supposed to rebuild once. Tigers are doing it like a million times, but that's neither here nor there. We've already talked about them.
Okay.
Scott Harris is apparently on the phone on the broadcast. I'm looking forward to all the clips of any of the information we can get from that. But look, with this Sean Payton stuff, I'm just sort of, in my mind, it's like there is no benefit to either side saying anything.
There's not.
no benefit. Like you just
That's all it is. It's just talking. I mean,
because
like,
it's like it's one thing if you're like, I look at this team and I think maybe, some things might have been done not to my liking. But I think we're going to try to have a really good year this year. We're not going to underestimate any of our opponents. Russ is our guy. Like generic coach speak stuff. What you don't want to do is put a target on your back for all these. I mean, like for one, the Jets, they play the Jets. So this is the other thing. It's like, is the NBA, like the NBA, the NFL is just like showing its hand. The fact that this league is so scripted, like, they're like, hey, Sean, look, what we're gonna need you to do,
say
we're
something.
gonna need you to say something really stupid, and then out of nowhere, just mention the Jets.
Yeah,
because you play the Jets this year, and that's kind of a boring game anyway. I mean, I guess Nathaniel Hackett, like, it's just sort of a random AFC game. So it's like we need you to like make that a game so that like people are like, oh, Jets Broncos, who's winning? What's going on? And like they do this every year. It's every year where it's like I don't know how they do it other than like the only way it makes sense is if it's scripted. But I know it's not scripted. But like last year, it was like opening week. It was like, oh, Broncos Seahawks. It's like they announced this before. They figured like they're not
for legal purposes. Anytime we say the NFL is scripted, it is not real.
Hold on. I don't know. I was gonna see if I could find a drop. I give up.
For legal purposes.
Yeah. So.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, John Payton shouldn't have. Just don't say anything.
It's
don't
just
say
stupid
anything.
stuff.
It's like
Sean Payton doing stupid stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of stupid stuff,
this
is one of the great stories of our time.
The greatest, stupidest thing ever.
So, Colts and Johnathan Taylor are in what appears to be a good old-fashioned catfight.
That's one way to put it.
So, headline here, Colts Johnathan Taylor requests trade amid contract fight won't be dealt. So, here's the thing. Johnathan Taylor, this whole running back thing situation happened. So, let's talk about need to put your foot in your mouth. So, Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts,
that guy,
random man who, to be honest, thinks he's like
a lot
probably smarter than he is. Yeah, he's probably. And he says, I don't have the tweet, but he said something like he like out of nowhere was like talking about the running back situation, which this is now like the third week in a row we're to talk about running backs on the show, which is like stupid. Kill me. I don't care. Stop. And he's like, I just think it's really stupid that people would, be complaining when we agreed to this. Everybody was all hell, and it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, you really shouldn't have said that when your running back is gonna need a contract.
He's up for contract.
Like it's like, what are you doing? It is like, what? Why would you say that? Even if what he said is correct, like you can. I am able to hear both sides of these debates. Okay. Yeah. I get it. Okay. I'm not gonna say Jim Irsay is totally wrong. He's like, there's nothing about what he said is right. And I'm also not gonna say that everything that the running backs say is totally right or totally wrong. Whatever. That is sort of irrelevant to the point. Why would you say that when your running back is in a contract year? Why would you do that? You're basically just saying to your running back, hey, by the way, I'm not going to pay you very much.
This just in.
Oh,
this is going on inside of Jim's head.
Oh.
That was the breaking news. We just discovered what his brain.
No brain.
Yes. Just Jim's brain. Jim Irsay.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
Fredo, please.
Just calm yourself.
It's literally he's just Fredo. He's
pretty much.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
Jim, please.
Jim, calm yourself.
So here's the thing that just adds to this. Okay, so that
makes no sense.
Johnathan Taylor is like, all right, you guys don't value me. I'm requesting a trade.
Correct.
Colts say no.
No, we're not.
no, we're not trading you.
Nice trade.
And then they say, oh, actually, Johnathan Taylor has a back injury. So according to sources, there's a back injury. And then Johnathan Taylor's like, I don't have a back injury. What are you talking about? You guys need to get your sources right. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is like, please.
This is the stupidest
do the Colts play Jim Irsay later in the year? Because I need to see this.
I hope so.
Like, is Jim Irsay just going to be on the other side on the defense and Johnathan Taylor is going to run like barrel right through that poor old man?
This is like the same thing as the running back stuff that we've been talking. It's also stupid.
It's like,
it makes no sense.
Like, well, it's just why are you putting more unneeded stress on the team and on all of the
fan
it's
base.
like you're just unnecessarily making things difficult. He could have said nothing. Jim Irsay could have just thought that. He could have just thought that in his head, and he can do that. He can think whatever he wants. It's his it's his team. He can, choose to pay or not pay anybody that he chooses to do so. But you don't have to say it on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so like, why would you do that?
It's the stupidest, greatest thing ever.
And Johnathan Taylor, like, I don't love Johnathan Taylor. I guess I'm just sort of neutral on Johnathan Taylor.
I was gonna say,
but at this point, it's like I kind of feel for Johnathan Taylor because it's like his owner basically just said, "I don't want to pay you," and then lied about a back injury. It's like, well, damn. Like, I was sort of neutral on Johnathan Taylor before, but now I'm like, well, Johnathan Taylor kind of looks like the good guy here, even if like. I agree. I wouldn't pay Johnathan Taylor any more than I think he's actually worth. But I also wouldn't lie that he's injured, that he's got a back injury that nobody. It's like that just doesn't. Like, why? Like, that's just not. That's just wrong. It's just so dumb. What are you doing? Stop, Jim. Put the phone down. What is he? This is why I'm glad even more when I realize that while Detroit's sports teams owners, sometimes they're not that great, but at least they just don't routinely say stupid crap on social media. Like,
it's true.
Sheila Ford, I don't even think she has Twitter. I don't even know. And Chris Ilitch, if he does have Twitter, I don't know. I don't think he says any. Like, the stupidest thing Chris Ilitch ever said was when he said the rebuild was over for the Tigers last year.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Certainly. Well, the rebuild was over, but the problem is you built a sandcastle and the tide just came in.
Nuts.
So, like, and like, what's his name? Tom Gores. He doesn't say anything. Like, it's like,
no.
I would rather, if you're gonna be bad, just shut up. Like, if you're just gonna be an idiot, just don't speak. Like Abraham Lincoln said, do not. I'm gonna paraphrase what Abraham Lincoln said. It's like, do not speak, or else people will know you're stupid. Abraham Lincoln, probably.
Close enough.
That's kind of what he said. It's I don't know the quote.
I know what quote you're speaking of, and it's
like
close enough.
Now people are gonna make fun of me. Hold on. I know the quote. Abraham
but it's close
Lincoln
enough.
Fool quote. I don't even know if he actually said this.
He did.
He did? No, not you can fool some of the people some of the time. That's not the one. I mean, that is he did say that, but
he did.
Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. That's the quote. That's exactly what I said.
Which is it? That's what I heard.
It's like, but like that's what it is. It's like, look, Tom Gores, Chris Ilitch, Sheila Ford. They could all singularly know nothing about the sports in which they are invested in.
Which they may not.
That's fine. I don't need them to know.
Yep.
But they don't talk about it. Like, they don't. Jim Irsay is like, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna pontificate about it. I'm going to sabotage my general manager, who now has to negotiate with an angry Johnathan Taylor, who knows that the owner
doesn't
want to pay him. Like, it's like. I wouldn't want to work for Jim Irsay if I'm a GM. I just don't
know
why. There's no benefit to me. I don't get it.
There's no benefit in knowing that, like, if I'd say even players don't want to go to the Colts if that's how the ownership is.
Yeah, and
I mean, I don't know.
And we'll see how they end up working out because Anthony Richardson, he's been throwing bombs in training camp. I don't know if
Training
you've seen. He's throwing like 500 million yard bombs. I hear
Wow.
the pass went all the way into China. That's how far it
Wow.
went from Lucas Oil. That they don't practice in Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm not stupid, people.
We got you.
We understand, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Anthony Richardson. Like, I don't think he's gonna be like.
Just wait till the NFL start. Just wait for regular season.
What if he throws a pass and it hits the ceiling of Lucas Oil Stadium?
If that happens, I will give you.
Because that's an incomplete pass, obviously. But
I'll give you $20.
At the same time, though, that's a little unfair, right? Because if it's an outdoor stadium, the ball just keeps going.
It just goes up to the moon.
Well, yeah, it escapes the stadium. If he can throw a ball out of the stadium, then he might have the strongest arm ever.
That's probably true.
Because that is. I don't know if you've ever been on the ground.
That's a
well, not just Lucas Oil. Have you been to any football stadium? It would be impossible to throw a ball out of that stadium. It could not happen. I don't believe any.
I'll give you $20 if it does, though.
If somebody can find me a video of a quarterback or some random dude throwing a football out of a stadium, like in a stadium on the ground, not like they're on the upper deck. Obviously, you could just drop it. I could do that, but I'm saying on the field, like 50-yard line, chuck it. At that point,
doesn't exist.
At that point, you might as well just like sign up for the NFL because you probably could find yourself on a team. It might not be accurate, but you could. I mean,
you got the ball downfield.
Yeah, they might not catch it.
It's fine,
but it'll be down there.
It's fine.
So maybe like 1 out of every like 10 throws, you might be able to make something.
That's fine. 10%.
Is that a good? That's probably not good.
No,
it's not very good.
No.
There was no quarterback in between Phillip Rivers and Justin Herbert, was there? So you really don't even know what it's like. Like your whole life, you've had really good quarterbacks. That's quite the life.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree.
It won't last, so you guys better not waste it.
We'll see.
Now, if Justin Herbert doesn't end up winning anything, are you just like are you contemplating moving? Are you requesting a trade out of the fan base?
No.
No. Okay.
That's not how that works.
No, you can't call them up.
No.
See, like, I agree. You can't. I don't think that would be right to leave the fan base when it's down bad. But
it's been down bad for quite some time.
To be fair, you do make up about 10% of the fan base. So
that is true.
You wouldn't want to lose you. That would be bad.
Yeah, it's very true.
I think we did it. I think that was the show.
I think that was it.
My voice is shot. I don't know if you can tell.
I can't.
Okay.
But that's just about everything.
I can assure you it is. I don't know how people do this for like 4 hours. That's amazing. I guess I yell. I have a loud voice.
That is true. You talk about Mr.
Look,
E-Rod.
Here, look, I'm looking forward to football. We're 2 days away, Seth. I'm like, we're joke a little bit. Like it's not that serious of a game. Obviously, I understand. But
you could turn TV
it's football.
Football.
It's football. I can turn this Thursday. I'll be able to turn the TV on, and I'll be able to watch football.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm just.
Yeah.
I think it's. My thing is, I think it's probably a combination of the baseball season not going well and just wanting to move on to another season. Move on to another team.
Yeah.
And a team that will probably actually do well.
That's the hope, of course.
No, the Lions
but anyway,
good. The
Lions
are good, dude. They're good.
Yeah.
I'm laying it down. They're gonna be good. They're winning 12 games. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
It's happening.
Then I'm not gonna say anything. You don't want to hear it. I'm not gonna say anything.
Here's my people. People are shocked when they hear 12 games. We're winning the division.
Okay.
I have a statistic for you. Since 2020, since they added the 17th game, every single year, every team except one team in the league wins their division without winning 12 games. Every single team outside of that one team wins the division. I think there might have been one other, like maybe two, but it's usually like one or two teams that win their division and they don't win 12 games. Every other team is like, 13, 14, 12, whatever.
Yep.
Like, I think, I'm just saying, I think we're going to win the division. And by me thinking that just automatically for me means we probably win 12 games.
Okay.
That's how I'm thinking about it.
It's fine. I will not rebuke that.
Yeah. It'd be crazy if both our teams win the division. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Well, you don't.
See, you have a much tougher division than us.
You don't have the Kansas City Chiefs in your division.
See, but like that, I mean, like, look, it would be great if both of our teams are really, really good.
But
for one, it would be good for our own sake. Like, we could both just like hype up our own teams. Then when we play, it would actually be a really good game.
But
the
Chargers are going to be injured in every position.
The problem is our teams are the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego and the Detroit Lions, the two most like cursed teams in their respective conferences.
Whether that be injury or just the city that they play in.
We like had a lineman die.
Oh,
yeah, he got hit by a truck.
You want to hear something cool? Our entire offensive line dies every single year.
See, but like, no, I mean, like he like they had a funeral.
But he actually died.
He got hit by a truck.
Oh.
We also had a lineman get paralyzed in the middle of a game. We also had a player die in the game. That was in like the 70s though. That was a long time ago. I'm telling you, Lions documentary. I think it would be the greatest sports documentary ever. Like, people
that might be a little biased.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it would literally be like, the last dance of like if the Lions win a Super Bowl, that documentary documenting every single horrible thing that has happened in the Lions leading up to a Super Bowl win. Like, it'd be bigger. I know the Cubs, they obviously had like a, technically speaking, much longer drought, but like for the Cubs, it's like you had like, what was it that not Billy Bean, that's the Oakland A's guy. The guy who caught the foul ball that wasn't a foul ball. You had like that, and you had like the curse of the Billy. They just kind of sucked. And maybe I'm selling Cubs fan history short, but most of the time it was just like they just weren't all that good.
Yeah,
and it was just like bad. But like, it's like with the Lions, it's like there's so many little stories of like, hey, you remember that game on Thanksgiving when they tackled that Texans player and you could clearly see his knee was down and like he was like clearly down, but he just kind of got up, ran for a touchdown, and the Lions tried to challenge it, but you can't challenge that because all scoring plays are reviewed. So they actually got penalized for throwing the challenge flag, and the call stayed. They ended up losing the game by the way, a touchdown.
Shucks.
Yeah. We're going to wrap up the show because...
What a nice note to end on.
We could go on this rabbit hole for eternity.
That's true. You can.
Well, I can. That's true.
Yeah.
So, next week, we'll have actual football to technically react to. And then also, all the teams will be playing. So, as far as preseason. So, we'll be able to preview, I guess, week 1 of the preseason.
Something like that.
I mean, there's not, again, preseason's hard to really preview.
Yeah.
You don't really know who's going to be on the team, but we'll probably have some sort of pick 'em, right?
Something.
I mean, come on. Wait, we're both taking the Jets this week. I'm not gonna keep track. I'm not gonna keep track of the regular season or the preseason anyway. But we're probably gonna be leaning into more football stuff as our MLB teams, unless the Padres go on a crazy run, I guess. But and the Tigers are the Tigers.
That's not happening.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. So we're wrapping up the show. Hope everybody so we'll see you next week. And thanks, Lou. We'll see you next week. And Eduardo, I'm sad. So,
yeah.
Goodbye.